Good evening. I'm Scott Binsack, and this is Sunday Night with me. Thank you for joining me. Tonight, I'm going to be discussing success. What defines success in life and in love. And what I mean by that is in the realms of on a personal basis and thus a professional basis. Everybody talks about success today, it's everywhere. He's successful, I want to be like him. Or she's successful, I want to be like her. Einstein, a great hero of mine, said in a nutshell, try not to be successful, but try to be a man of value. In other words, don't be a man of success, but be one of value. Two big words, success and value. Two different words as well. What do you value? Do you value yourself, or do you value the money? If you look up success in the dictionary, the main part of it is one who gains monetary gain, power, is successful. I used to think that way. I truly used to think that way. But that's not success. Not even close. And when I say not even close, you can have all the money in the world and yet be labeled a success, but within yourself not be successful. I'm always talking about my childhood in this show because I want people to understand what I walked through to get to where I had to go to be successful. And what made me successful was the drive from the traumatic childhood I had. As the drive not to be a failure, not to let people down, when in fact, all along, success is what I wanted to do within oneself. In other words, to be successful within oneself, you must have your value. You have to have your value. I opened my first company when I was 18. I did it because I loved what I did. And I needed to survive. And I valued that company. At the same time, I valued what I did in that company, but I didn't value myself, so to speak. In other words, all I did was eat, live, and breathe that business. And by 24, yes, the company was doing millions, and I was a self-made millionaire and deemed a success. Underneath all of that, I was a mess, a complete mess, and it affected me as time went on with that company and in my personal life. I define success as when you can sleep at night and go to bed and you're at peace. And I mean, I don't want to hear everybody says, oh, I sleep well. Okay, you might sleep well. But are you at peace with yourself for what you have achieved, for what you've done for the day? Are you at peace where you're going the following day and where you're headed and where you want to be in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years? To be successful with yourself, and that's the key. The first thing you must do is to be successful with yourself. You need to set goals for yourself, small goals. Complete those goals. Your self-esteem builds. That's success. Success is also deemed as anyone who completes anything that they set out to do. Again, if you have a goal, you set out to do it and you complete it, you did it successfully. If you wanted to make it to work in early, and that was your goal for the next week, every day you're going to be in there early to get more work done, and you completed that, then you were successful. You have a goal to build a multi-million-dollar empire. You can't build that empire if you don't value yourself and thus have no success within your soul. I can remember I started my company, as I said, really at 17, but officially at 18. And I started out doing small jobs, decks and painting and roofs and siding. I kept looking for bigger goals. As I completed those jobs, I wanted to build bigger and better things. And my goal was always to build these multi-million-dollar homes on the ocean in the Hamptons. And at the same time, I had gotten married and had a child, and the goals sort of shifted here. But myself and the success to thrive once I had some power, and I was in demand, and man, I was in demand. My work was good. I was very confident in what I could do. I don't know how I even learned to do it. It just came to me. I have been called a protege in construction. And I kept building and building and building and working and working and working and getting more money and more money and more jobs, and then an office, and then $1 million fleet of trucks, and craziness, craziness. 12, 15 jobs going on at the same time. And one day, a good client of mine, a very successful man, very successful man. I'll quickly just tell you, this man was successful in a simple thing. And he was a multimillionaire. He used to make the tins that hard candies come in. If you ever seen those gold tins for like a Christmas time, there's Santa Claus on the top, and the expensive mints come in them. All he did was make the tin. And he was good at this. And he became a multimillionaire over it. And he pulled me aside on this job, big custom oceanfront contemporary, and said, Scott, I've gotten to know you. And he goes, I hired you for you. I looked at him, I said, what do you mean, my talent? He goes, yes, in part, but I hired you for you because I wanted you on my job. I wanted you overseeing my project, and I wanted your passion, your self on my job. I didn't hire you to get 50 subcontractors in here and have a construction manager oversee them. I want you. And I said, okay. And I don't know, for the next month, I just kept hitting me hard. And we were growing, and I'm like, I said to myself, why did I get into this business? Why do I do what I do? And I said to self, myself kept coming back to the same answer, because I love to do it. And because I needed to do it. It's the only thing I knew. It's the only thing I knew. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't know how to apply it, what good is it? And that's a good key part of success. You can go to college, get a degree, and you get all this knowledge, but if you don't apply it, what good is it? And he brought me down to earth, because at that time, I was 23, had just come out on the cover of a magazine, this builder, top builder in the Hamptons, builder of the year. And I was more interested in building the company bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and buying more trucks and building another office and expanding and doing all these things, which is great. However, I was making just as much money as if I would have done that by doing less. By doing less. Because people would pay anything to have me do their job or oversee their job and ensure that even architects, I had some of the best architects to want me in demand. But at the time, I'm young, my ego, money changes people. Success changes people, the power. Power changes you. Having that money, and after growing up with the traumas I did in my childhood, leaving home at such a young age, I buried them with my success, so to speak. And I'm calling this monetary success because, and yes, it brought some personal success within myself as far as achieving the goals that I wanted to achieve. But my values were I valued the job, I valued the customer, but I didn't value myself. And people were so jealous. Oh dear God, my friends that went to college while I was hustling and working were jealous. Oh my God, there I was with nice cars, house on the ocean, this thing, that thing, all looking at you in envy. But I was miserable inside. I was happy about the success of the company, but I was miserable. I was happy that I did it. I achieved it and I did it. Great. Now what? Now what? What do I do with all this? And how did I get there? Was because of the drive. And along the way, I would fall down and have to get right back up, and fall down and get right back up, and fall down and get right back up, because I had to survive. But at the same time, I was teaching myself how to be successful. Because every time I fell down, I said, no way. I'm going to learn from that. Nope, that didn't go right. That doesn't work. We're going to do it this way. We're going to do it that way. And I was a guy, still am, but I do things my way. That song by Frank Sinatra, My Way. It's a favorite of mine. And I'll die by doing things, in other words, living my life by doing things my way. And it was always the tough road. Always the tough road. No one could tell me anything. Listen, do this, do that, do this, but. And if somebody told me something that I didn't like or I didn't understand, I found it out. Whether it be corporate law, whether it be construction, blueprints, engineering, this thing, I had to learn for myself. I had to find it. And along doing all this, I was humbling myself along, educating myself and humbling myself along the way, because I made some major mistakes that in the end cost me this multi-million-dollar empire I built. Did I build another one? Yes. Was this one better? Yes. But then again, I fell on my face again. And built it back up again. And then there comes a point where you're finally like, I get it. I get it. How many times do I have to be knocked down before I get it? Before you get it? You gotta want it. You gotta want to achieve it. You can read all these books and do all these things, but if you don't apply it within yourself and be successful within yourself, you're never going to be successful. If it was easy to be successful, everybody would be successful. But they're not. And some people are leaders and some people are followers. And that's fine. But you still got to be successful with yourself. It goes to relationships. If you're not successful within yourself and thus love yourself, you're not going to be successful in any relationship that you have. And I know I messed up many relationships. And I got married too young for all the wrong reasons. And then ended up divorced. And lost everything I built in that relationship. Or we built. Success is not measured by the $1 million cars in the driveway on a personal level. That's how society measures success. That success is great. But in order to truly have success, you have to have it within yourself. And be at peace with yourself, with no regrets, no guilt. Make goals. Complete those goals. Work hard. Or you will fall on your face. There is no get rich schemes. There's no such thing. There's no get rich like overnight. Unless you win in the lottery. And I always say it over and over and over again. Everything with success begins with you. If you're a realtor or an investor or a builder or even a lawyer, a doctor's success comes from helping people, curing people. And how many failures do doctors have every day? Too many to even count. Does that doctor give up all the years of education and learning that they did? No. They get back up and they do it again. And if something went awry in a surgery or procedure, they learn from that and move on to save somebody else. And usually, I would say, for every 10 they save, for every one they lose, 10 they save, or 20 they save, or 100 they save. And they learn as they go. They don't give it up. They go right back at it again. You can't give up. You try and try and try and try. That's success. That is success. Giving up is failure. How much do you value your life? Simple question to ask yourself. How much do you value your life? Do you value it enough to be successful within yourself? Or not? Years later, I was in a very, very bad situation after I was in a near-fatal auto accident, as I've discussed before, on another company I built. And it was a big wake-up call for me. Because I used the same blueprint, and I was young enough at the time, used the same blueprint of how I became successful the first time for this other company. And that was wrong. I was wrong. I learned real fast. And fell on my face hard. And in doing so, humbled myself. And I lost millions in doing this, but I lost more at that time. I lost my drive. I became depressed. I lost my confidence. And I was 26 at the time. And when you lose your confidence, you have nothing. You have nothing if you don't have confidence in yourself. There's another quote. To be successful, you must risk more than others think is possible. Very true. And from that episode, I picked myself up, dusted myself off, and started all over again and became successful again, this time better than the first 2 times. And you have to risk. You have to take chances. And don't think too much. Thinking's great, but if you think too much and overthink a situation or a step, that's just as bad. When you feel that, okay, and you see it and you believe it and you feel that, do it. Don't be afraid to do it. Take that chance. If you're inventing something or you want to try something new or you have an idea, do it. Do it. Don't let anything stand in your way. The biggest obstacle that people face is themselves, not money, not others, themselves. We are our own worst enemies. And thus, my point of this show is that to be successful, you must conquer thyself first. And you'll do it every day until a point where you can get to the point where you've conquered yourself, but it's still every day setting goals for yourself, challenges, and expectations. That is a success every day and builds to greater success. You also must, I want to say this, you must believe what you're doing. You have to see it and believe it, and it will happen. You have to. If you can't foresee it in your mind, it's not going to happen. And if you don't feel right about it and somebody else is telling you it, you'll never be successful either, and you shouldn't. If your gut's telling you, I don't want to do this and that, I don't care, but you're looking at the money, don't do it. Don't do it. You have to do something that you feel comfortable with and confident with. The 2 C's, comfortable and confident. Thus, you have to be okay with it yourself and then confident in carrying it out. So receiving the knowledge is great. That builds your confidence. Then you have to take the steps to carry out what was reinforced to you and what you learned, and thus reinforcing your confidence and building it stronger and stronger. This is success. This is complete success. Then you will achieve, you know what, to be honest with you, the monetary gain of success, I would rather die knowing I've had success within myself than having $1 million fleet of cars or $5 million yacht and houses and everything else. And I've had it all. I've been there. With much success comes much responsibility. Thus, with much gifts that are given to you in life, i.e. your talents, comes a lot of responsibility as well. And how you carry them out and execute them. That's the key. And when you become successful and powerful, not letting it get to your head and to your ego is another challenge in itself. It's the same thing in a relationship. Everything's tied together, whether it's business or personal. It's really ties together and comes back to each one of us. Every one of us. I'll tie it together this way with employees, that's also business and a personal level. How you treat somebody else is how you feel about yourself. When I first started in business, I always took care of my employees, but I was always looking to give them what they wanted. I was a young guy in my 20s having people in their 40s and 50s work for me and have respect for me enough to work for me. That was a huge challenge. And at times, I had to remember and had to thus learn what respect was. I lost a lot of good employees, because I was too focused on the gain instead of the individual, and thus myself. How you feel about yourself, as I said, is how you treat others. I learned to value people and their talents. And I also learned what bad uh, people, how should I say, employees and people in general, and business associates that I call cancer. They spread everywhere. They're negativity. If you got negativity, you don't want negativity in your business or in your life or in your relationships. It's like if one partner's positive and the other one's negative, you're going nowhere. If you got a team of people and all of them are positive but one, that one negative is like cancer in the whole team. And it spreads. And it spreads like cancer, like wildfire. You have to remember that not everyone knows everything that you know, and no one is the same as you are. Oh, I learned that out. And that was a big, big issue for me. I'm an intelligent guy. I mean, for a long time, I believed that unintentionally, but I talked to people or treated them as if they knew everything that I knew. Can't do that. You cannot do that. A lot of people, you can never know, no one knows the exact same thing as someone else. And then you have to learn how to delegate that, and as well as to talk to people in a human way, a down to earth, humble way, and not in an egotistical, I'm better than you way. And that's what happens. You'll get the attitude, I'm better than you are. I made it, you didn't. Well, if you really made it, you wouldn't have that attitude. You might have made it financially, but it won't last. How your attitude is, and thus again, success within yourself is what's going to direct how successful you are in your business and thus in your life and in your relationships. Just getting up every day and going back at it again and having the drive to make something of yourself is success within itself. Don't cut yourself short. Never cut yourself short, and never give up. If you have a dream, follow it. But look in the mirror first. And I'm going to harp that on my shows. Look in the mirror. People may not like what I say. Oh, well. But I'm going to tell you how it is. I had to look in the mirror. I mean, I had to look in the mirror. I was forced to look in the mirror. I was forced to look in the mirror. And you will be forced to look in the mirror yourself if you don't get it. It's only a matter of time. Or if you're not forced to look in the mirror, you're going to die pretty miserable and alone. And we are all here to learn. That is success in itself. Just opening your mind to learning to be a better person is the first step in success. Outlining your life and your goals, and including with children. Same thing. How do you want to raise your children? Where do you want them to be? How do you want them to grow up? Do you want them to be leaders or followers? What do you want? Regardless whether they're a leader or a follower, because you need both in the world. You want to be the best follower you can be, and thus the best person you can be. And nobody can build success alone. It takes teams, it takes people. Some of the most successful people tried and tried and tried and tried again. Owner of Federal Express is an example. Borrowed money from his family. They thought he was nuts, thinking that they could do overnight delivery. Yeah, look at Federal Express now. And they turned their back on him as well. In the beginning, he blew the money. Never gave up. Failed, got up, failed, got up, failed, got up. I failed, got up, failed, got up, failed, got up. But here's the key. If you don't open your mind along the way to learn why you failed and thus fell down, then getting up is meaningless. You have to open your mind to learn about yourself as well as how to treat others and how to be successful in the game. I don't care. Guys can make all the millions of dollars they want and not be successful. Because a lot that I know, and I know some big players, they're miserable. Underneath, they're miserable. And they cover it with business. And I did the same thing. I covered years of pain and guilt from a childhood I could only describe as horrible. And I've shared some of the incidents, and I will share more. I was told you're going to be nothing. 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 Degraded all the time. There was my drive. I wanted to show them wrong. That's good. At least I had the drive. However, the drive without direction is no good. The drive without facing your inner demons, not successful. The drive where all you care about is money and how many cars you can line in your driveway, not successful. It's like musicians, artists, and like sports athletes. 90% of them become athletes or are athletes or singers because they love it. They love it. They got a skill. They have a talent that's unbelievable. Football players, baseball players, they go into the business because they love playing it. Then when they get there, a lot of them lose it. Meaning, that's it. It becomes about stardom and the money, not the game. And that's why we've lost the game in most sports. Meaning the heart and the root of the game. Musicians, you'll see them, even the best rap stars. They rap, they're good, they love to rap, they love to do it. Then they get in the game, it's about money. Money, success, power. Ah, there's that word success. Yep, I'm successful. I made it out of the hood. One of the best examples of success, I think, to show, I'll give you an example. I think it's Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan learned along the way. And he stayed pretty humble, believe it or not, throughout the whole process. And fell and got up, fell and got up, and fell and got up. And he held it together. And he also does a lot for other people. He shared his wealth. Still does. Actors, same way. They make it, pow. And all of a sudden, there's the fame. Not all of them now. Now, I'm not stereotyping people. I'm saying, and just giving examples. Then they have broken marriages. Then everything ties together. You. Me. Meaning, it all down to us. Challenge yourself. You want to be successful? Okay, quickly. Challenge yourself. Find out what you love to do. Figure out what you love to do. Figure out what you're good at. Figure out where you want to be. Set out a personal plan. Forget about a business plan. That comes second. Set out a personal plan for yourself on how to be personally successful. Even if you're already successful now, do it. I challenge you. Find out if you're successful within yourself. Falling down hard. Wake-up calls. Losing everything you have and having to start over. I mean losing everything. Losing your job after you had a great career due to a recession. You got to start over. I respect the people that were in high-paying salaries and now work at McDonald's. But you know what? They got up and they started themselves over again. And even if it was at McDonald's, that's what they had to do to survive and take care of their family. That's a success. They are a success. They may not have the fancy car pulling up to their house or the address, but you know what? They're a better person inside. They learned something. Then I see the ones that cry. I can't work there. I can't do this. But then they cry, I don't have any money. Okay, well, stepping stones. I have to go from A to B to Z to D. You don't go from A to Z. You just don't do that. You go A, B, C, D, all the steps. It's determination. It's drive. It's confidence in thyself. Have the confidence. Have the drive. And if you have anything holding you back in your life, guilt, get rid of it. Get rid of it. You can't change the past. To move forward, you need to get rid of the past. Let it go. Let it go. No other choice. Forgive it, never forget it, and move forward. That in itself is a success. But you'll never change your life or the situation you're in unless you look in the mirror. Or you'll be forced to look in the mirror, and sometimes people then, they still don't look in the mirror. And they get back up. They do it all over again. Because they hate to look at themselves. Or they don't want to work too hard. They want the easy life. Sit on the couch, play video games, do this, that, and the other thing. Unbelievable. Or on the welfare system. Unbelievable. Or they say, I don't want to work at McDonald's. I don't want to work here. I don't want to work in a lumber yard. I don't want to work at Home Depot. I don't want to... Then they're at home. You got money I could borrow? I want to do this. I want to do that. Yeah? You want to do it? Then get off the couch. Conquer thyself first. Conquer yourself. And it starts with simple things. Set small goals. Achieve them. Then move to the next one. And as you achieve goals, you become more confident. Look at your past mistakes. How did I end up here? Look back. Look at the avenues and directions you take. We are all masters of our own destiny. Take a good hard look at where you went wrong. And say, why did I make that decision? What led me to make that decision so I don't make it again? Accept responsibility for your mistakes. Learn from them and move forward. That is success in itself. Many of the best teachers of our time, successful people, state the same thing. Success is the accumulation of very small achievements to get to the big one. But the biggest one of all is not the fancy house and the cars. The biggest one of all is yourself. And this, people get me. Man, I just don't get it. People are so stubborn. And I know. I've been there. You don't want to see it. You don't want to look at yourself. It's like, ugh. Did I do that? Did I make that mistake? Did I say that? Did I? Ugh. Why won't I go to that? Look at yourself. I had to look at myself, and I look at myself every day to see what I can do better. Because I never want to be down there again. ever. And yeah, I'm looking to build another empire. But this empire is within myself. And I want to help others not make the same mistakes I did. And I lost millions. And you can't count on others for your success, meaning, yes, your employees, you can't do it alone. And that's another key thing. You can't do it alone. You need the aid of others to become successful, truly successful in the professional world. You have to be humble enough to get it. And I'm a type A plus personality. I've had to be smashed down and learn how to become humble and then confident and not cocky. Big differences. Huge differences. Oh, I was cocky, boy. When I was younger, oh my God, forget it. I was cocky. More so, I was proud. After what happened to me as a child, being basically put myself on the streets to get away from it. Okay, you say I'm not going to be anything? I'm going to show you. Well, that's great. As I said, I showed them. And there they were, right there. Can I borrow money? Can I do this? Do you want to be my friend then? No. And stupid enough, actually, at the time when I was younger, yeah, sure, I got sucked back in. Again, learned the hard way. Never make that mistake again. Never. Because we all want approval from others. The mind seeks that, and the heart seeks that approval from your partner, from business colleagues, from life. You seek approval. You need to be approved by yourself. By yourself. Morals, values. There's that word, value. The man who values himself. That to me is success. Do you value yourself? And I'm going to ask you that question again. Do you value your life? Do you want the most of your life? Thus be successful in anything that you do? It all starts with you. Take the time, take the steps to do it. Don't talk about it. Do it. As you know, I say get her done, but same thing. Just get her done. Because if you get smashed down, it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant. And it's quite humbling when you get smashed. Oh, believe me, it's quite humbling. But I will never regret my past. None of it. I don't regret any of it because I wouldn't be where I am today and know what I know because of it. That includes the mistakes and the good decisions, the successes. But it was accumulation of many things to get that. And success is peace within oneself. And never be concerned about what others think of you. That is another problem. Again, everybody wants to please other people. Please yourself. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. It doesn't. And the minute you learn that, that's the first, you're successful. The minute you truly believe that and know that and you can be yourself, you're successful. You could take a bad situation and turn it into good anytime it happens. Even the worst situations you can turn into good ones. Something good can come out of anything negative. Trust me, I know, I've done it. And I've been smashed with some serious bad situations. And I'll be sharing them and soon sharing my life story online. Be successful. Be successful with yourself. And you'll be successful in any avenue you take. But remember why you're doing it. Because if you're looking just to get rich, Do something you love to do. Have respect for yourself. Do what you love to do. And if you can't get that to do exactly what you love to do, set that as the goal. And along the way, sure, you may have to do a different type of job or do a different type of profession to get to where you want to do. Like some people want to be a musician. Sometimes some of them, they strive. They have to work hard. They work all different types of jobs to get the money they need to become successful, but they don't give up. Never give up. Keep trying and trying. Harry Potter books, Rowling. Everybody knows her. Do you know how many times she submitted her books to publishers and they turned her down? Oh my God. I think the number's ridiculous. Hundreds. Hundreds and hundreds. They said, no way, no way, no way, no way. She ever give up? She kept writing, she kept writing, she kept writing, and she succeeded. And she learned along the way. And she's one to tell you that. It's like a writer. I'll give you an example talking about a writer. If a writer writes 1 page a day, and this is a goal setting point, if a writer writes 1 page a day for 300 days, that's 300 pages. It's better to look at the entire project goal instead of over a period of time instead of immediately, because you can't immediately sit down and write 300 pages and write a best-selling novel. It's not happening. Maybe some people can, some of the best, the greatest, who are successful within themselves to have achieved such a thing, or their protege to do the same. But if you want to write a book, it's a big goal. That's a success for people. They want to write a book. They love to write. Well, write a page a day. If you can write more during the day and it flows, fine. But if not, set the goal at 1 a day. 300 days, within a year, you got your book. You have your novel. Small goals. Keep it to small goals, and you'll reach the big goal. Set it out. You don't have to do all. Life's simple. I preach it on this show all the time. Life is simple. Don't complicate it. Make your day simple. Make your goals simple. Make the overall goal what you need it to be, and make the small ones to get there simple, and carry them out small. Rome wasn't built, as everybody says, in a day. It's very true. It wasn't. And it wasn't built alone either. Again, I ask you, what do you value? I value my life. And when I mean that, I value that I've been given the gift to still be here today and be able to talk to you right now. And be happy while you're doing it. In other words, don't take everything so seriously. Laugh. You need to laugh. You need to live. Enjoy your life. I blew so many years of my life on such a drive for success. I look back on it now. So many times the vacations I went on, everybody thought, this is great. You're going to have a great time. I couldn't even relax. It was all about business. Power. Building more. Having more. Getting more. The drive for that instead of what I really started out with for, which is to do what I love to do. And as I said, I didn't need to expand. All I needed to do was do what I love to do and keep it simple. And I would make the same amount of money in basically than having 3 locations and building 200 homes instead of building the 12 top that I did every year. And believe it or not, I made very good profit. 40% profit on the homes I built and renovated. It's very high. And I was on those jobs, hands-on, every day, all the time. And the minute that I wasn't, that's when people started to recognize the difference. And I also learned, and a good quick tip before I end this, learn by observing others. Look at people who are successful. And it could be somebody even at your job that's in a higher position. Look at some of the things that they do. I picked up everything I learned from observing others and being my worst my worst enemy because I critic myself. But don't beat yourself up when you criticize yourself. In other words, I shouldn't use the word criticize. When you look at yourself and you say, I made a mistake, I did that wrong, don't beat yourself up. Look at it, learn from it, and move on. Forgive it. That's it. I got it. I learned it. Okay. You can do better next time. And there's no such thing as perfection. There's no such thing as perfection. I don't care what anybody says. I used to be the biggest perfectionist in the world. It cost me time and money. Lots of it. And it cost me years on my life as far as the stress that I went through. Stress is a big part of our lives. You want to try to limit that as much as possible and get out of your head that you're going to get rich super fast. Accept that it takes time and hard work. Accept that. Build within yourself first and never lose sight of why you want to be successful. Have a great night. God bless and thank you for joining me. Take care.